How volcanoes help cool the Earth. When we think of volcanoes, we picture fiery eruptions, molten lava, and destruction. Explosions that devastate landscapes, wipe out forests, and reshape entire continents. But here's the twist. Volcanoes don't just burn and destroy. In fact, under the right conditions, they can actually cool the Earth. Sounds impossible? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating science of how volcanoes, some of the most violent forces of nature, end up protecting our planet from heat. Volcanoes erupt with unimaginable energy. A single eruption can release as much power as a nuclear bomb every second. They spew out lava, ash, and deadly gases like carbon dioxide. And since CO2 is a greenhouse gas, you'd expect volcanoes to make the Earth hotter, not colder. And that's partly true. On a long time scale, volcanoes do contribute carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. But in the short term, their effect is often the exact opposite. Some eruptions unleash particles and gases that act like a giant planetary sunscreen, reflecting sunlight back into space and cooling the globe. So how do they do it? The answer lies in one of the most underestimated elements in nature: sulfur. When a volcano erupts explosively, it doesn't just spit out lava. It blasts sulfur dioxide, SO2, high into the stratosphere, the layer of atmosphere above where clouds and weather normally happen. Once there, the gas reacts with water vapor to form tiny droplets of sulfuric acid, basically a thin veil of reflective mist spread across the sky. These particles act like millions of microscopic mirrors, bouncing sunlight away before it can warm the Earth's surface. The result? Global cooling that can last for months, years, or even decades, depending on the scale of the eruption. History gives us some astonishing examples. Mount Tambora, 1815, the largest eruption in recorded history. Tambora blasted so much sulfur into the atmosphere that global temperatures dropped dramatically. 1816 became known as the year without a summer. Crops failed, rivers froze in June, and millions of people faced famine worldwide. Krakatoa, 1883, another colossal eruption. The sky turned vivid red and orange for years, inspiring famous paintings like The Scream by Edvard Munch. Average global temperatures dropped by over a degree Celsius. Mount Pinatubo, 1991. This eruption in the Philippines cooled the Earth by nearly 0.5 degrees Celsius for 2 years. It injected about 20 million tons of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. Scientists later used this data to study how aerosols could be used to counteract climate change. These eruptions remind us that volcanoes can act as natural climate regulators, sometimes with devastating consequences for humanity. Here's where it gets really fascinating. The cooling effect of volcanoes is so strong that climate scientists now study it as a potential geoengineering technique. The idea, called stratospheric aerosol injection, suggests that we could deliberately release particles into the upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight and slow global warming. Of course, nature does it best and also shows us the risks. Cooling the Earth might sound great, but volcanic winters have historically caused famine, crop failures, and massive suffering. It's a reminder that the climate system is delicate, and even natural fixes can bring unexpected consequences. In a way, volcanoes embody the paradox of nature. They create and destroy. They heat and cool. They terrify us, but they also shape the very conditions for life on Earth. Without volcanoes, our planet wouldn't have an atmosphere rich in the gases we breathe. Without their eruptions, Earth might have been too cold in the past. And with their cooling effects, they show us how even the most destructive forces can bring balance to the planet. The Earth, it seems, has its own thermostat, and volcanoes are one of the dials. So the next time you see images of fiery eruptions, remember, behind the chaos and destruction lies an unexpected role. Volcanoes don't just burn. They can also shield us from the sun, cooling the Earth with their mysterious chemistry. It's a humbling reminder that our planet is full of contradictions, and that even the darkest disasters can hold surprising gifts. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think humanity should try to copy volcanoes and use aerosols to cool the Earth? Or is that too risky? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's journey into the science of fire and ice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more fascinating stories about our amazing planet.